Hello and welcome to the Genuine Learning Blog. My name is Melissa Galasso and it's a pleasure to be with you today to talk about IFR for NPO, or the International Financial Reporting for Not-for-Profit Organizations. We've already talked a little bit about the IFR for NPO project on our blog earlier this year. However, we're going to turn our attention to the part 2 of the consultation paper in today's blog. So as we've discussed earlier, IFR for NPO is an international project to give the not-for-profit organizations around the globe an opportunity to contribute to the development of international financial reporting. Currently, there is not a lot of guidance internationally, which leads to significant diversity in practice. So while US GAAP does have Section 958 of the codification, around the globe, there is not a lot of consistency. And so we have a group who has gotten together, a large group with a very diverse involvement, including Jeff Mechanic from the FASB. So again, US is participating in this, who has issued a consultation paper. Now, part 1 of the consultation paper was due in July of 2021, but we're going to focus on part 2 today. So again, the issue here is that there's no common international accounting standards for NPOs. IFRS is very weak in this area, really focused on commercial entities. And if we want to have standardization and consistency, we would need to have a more consistent usage. And so having a set of standards that could be used. And so there are 3 objectives in this project to: 1, improve the quality, transparency, and credibility of nonprofit reporting. But also objective 2 is to support the provision of NFO financial information that is useful for decision making and accountability. Again, balancing the needs of the preparers and the users. And then to address NPO issues, which will promote the comparability. And that's really what we're going to focus on today. Part 2 of the consultation paper really focuses on nonprofit specific financial reporting issues. And it looks at the reporting entity. It looks at how do we handle incoming resources like contributions revenue, but also outgoing expenses and liabilities, and then accounting for financial and non-financial assets, and then the presentation, content, and scope. So when you look at this, obviously the reporting entity being a big element here, what does it mean to control, something very important in the nonprofit world? They also cover acting on behalf of another entity, something kind of unique in the nonprofit world. We also have these recognition and measurement issues related to cash contributions, gifts in kind, and services in kind, as well as grant expenses. You'll also see that they're going to address tangible and intangible benefits held for social benefit. They'll also look at inventory held for use or distribution, financial statement prep, classification, is it by function or nature, fundraising costs, and non-financial reporting, in particular service reporting, right? Many nonprofits try to do really good work and try to tell their story, and very often there is limitations within the financial statements on being able to tell that story. So looking at these non-financial elements as well. Now, this is really, again, a long-term project. They are looking to get some input from users, from preparers, from nonprofit organizations, again, around the globe, to really look at this with fresh eyes. I think when I've heard Jeff Mechanic speak about this, it's that we know that US GAAP is great. We know Section 958 is very strong and gets lots of attention. The Not-for-Profit Advisory Committee of the FASB really tries to ensure that FASB considers nonprofits in their standard setting. However, we recognize that consistency is really helpful. And when we think about these international standards, that we want to participate to ensure that, again, globally, we have very strong standards. And so we are looking at this as a way to contribute great ideas, but also potentially to see if anything kind of piques our interest to look at from a US GAAP perspective. Now, to come down the pike here, again, there are looking at things like mergers and acquisitions, intra-group transactions, recognition of legacy bequest income and endowments, always fun accounting there, heritage assets and or obligations, concessionary loans for social purposes, concessionary leases. That's been a hot topic with ASU 2020-07 here in the United States. Accounting for investment and financial assets, recently updated here in the United States. Service concessions arising in nonprofit organizations as both the grantor, but also as the operator. Related parties, remuneration and pay disclosures, and then foreign currency. Obviously, with an international blend, that probably makes a lot of sense. So those aren't covered in the current proposal, but they are in the next phase as they look through it. So again, if you have a passion for nonprofit organizations, we do encourage you to respond. Part 2 is due by September 24th, 2021. I am sure they would love your thoughts on some of the basis of what they plan on talking about going forward. We're pretty early on, as I've mentioned, but we can make a big difference, and I think that this is a great opportunity. So I'm happy to share it with you. All right, so that's a wrap for today's blog. I hope that you guys do participate, especially those of you who have a lot of expertise in the nonprofit world. I know we can do really good here. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope to see you on a future blog. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.